Also, changing just behavior, just 100% all on behavior, denies the power of the cross. Meaning, what we're saying is God can't heal us on the inside. It means we can just do it by our own willpower. We can grow by 100% behavior. Now, I'm not denying that we would need behavior at times to get us out of the funk, but all this is saying probably is if you're looking at just 100%, then that wouldn't work either, because God needs to work in our hearts. So, questions, or am I going 100 miles again? Or it's just too easy now?
It's pretty straightforward.
It's straightforward, yeah, so it's obvious.
Thinking about a lot of things.
Oh, good. Go for it.
Did you have Philippians chapter 1 verse 5 earlier?
I did.
Yeah, have the same mind that was in Christ Jesus.
You did, huh?
1 5.
Or maybe I did.
Something I saw. Maybe I saw it.
Well, you already told us what it is, but
There, that one, right?
it's 1:9.
But it might be related. Can we have the mind of Christ while we're here on earth? Because you're talking about that internal change. Yeah, I know the Savior, he was 100% man, 100% God. And I'm not giving the liberty that we cannot have the mind of Christ in this planet. And Paul said to the Corinthians, the Lord said, my grace is sufficient for you. And in Philippians chapter 4, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Mhm.
So that change, and you're teaching something that will lead us toward perfection. A change inside and to experience spiritual growth or emotional growth. Earlier, he said something. Sometimes our psychology is influenced by sociology.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The community is telling us what to do, and we have pressures. Emil Durkheim forces, social forces. It's not you really. They tell you what to do and you behave. It's hard sometimes. So your topic is hard for human beings. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, you definitely have a lot on your mind. Okay, was that interesting? Did that provoke any other thoughts with you guys based on what he said?
We do have boundaries placed on us by society.
I think that's pretty much the same thing that we have. Cultural difference.
Yeah, they're cultural.
Okay.
That's his point too, which is another aspect of it. Ethics seem relative. Morality seems to be relative. Yeah, but it should not be because of the Bible. Earlier, that's what you gave as an answer.
Right.
We follow the Bible, we follow Christ.
Yeah.
But what is good here in the US and when you go to Afghanistan, this is bad.
Well, that's why, since I'm a PhD student, I go for the interpretation. Look deeper into the word. That's why we do original languages. That's why we do the other work that we do there. But of course, with all the people already working on that, of course, people will still argue for, no, this isn't like that. No, this isn't. The Bible doesn't say it's this or that. But we just need to be faithful that in what we do, that we're actually seeking what God says instead of putting our own agenda or our own culture.
We should have the right heart.
But at the same time, we should also know that we do have our own biases. So it's like no one can be totally objective, but you need to be aware of that too. in that sense. So accounting for your own frailty and your own inability to look at the word, and it actually just, you just end up in a way just on your knees anyway, because we're human and we can put all the knowledge that we can do, but in the end God will still reveal to us what it actually says.
It's kind of futile for us to keep trying to figure out exactly what it's supposed to be, because we're never going to know exactly.
Well, for me, I'm still, I still need to figure it out. For others, maybe no, but there's other people that, we're going to do that, but they're still going to hit the point where, we need God. We really can't.
Yeah, but I mean,
totally
you
know.
keep trying to understand, but like you just need the faith and just have to submit.
Yeah.
And stop trying to understand all the time. It's like with science. Like they wanted to keep going smaller and smaller to see what atoms are made out of and electrons are made out of, and just you're never going to end.
Yeah.
So you gotta just accept that, it's too big for a human mind to comprehend at some point. And you just kind of just submit to it.
And at some point in the very end, you go, God, by your Spirit, just reveal to me. It's a revelation. But a lot of people give up on and just go there instead of searching harder. But then, it's, again, it varies from people to people.
It is really hard to say what's right and what's wrong, especially when you see a person that interpret the Bible differently, and you tend to is it right or wrong? And some people might think, if he has the right thought, he wants to find the truth, well, maybe he should do it, and I should let him do it. But on the other hand, if he interpreted wrong, do you want him to go and tell other people to see things that he think it is? It's really hard to say, should I stop him or should I let him do it, because he's having the right, right intention, I guess, because he wants to know God more.
So we're going through other issues of, what do you do now in that situation?
Right.
So anyway, I'm just finding out what your thoughts are, because answering that would take us even more. But thank you. It's interesting to hear about more issues that can come up. With that. What?
That's what I'm saying. It's not only 12.
Oh yeah. It's not just 12 Christian ideas that drive you crazy. It's even more. So thank you for telling me what's in your mind. Because whatever you guys say, it could jog more series. We're gonna have more
reasons.
Be careful what you say.
Maybe we should write our own book, NCPC version of issues.
So the author, she's now gonna go, so how should we behave? Should we let go and let God? But that's what we discussed in the previous chapter. No, that's just being passive. It's 100% passive. Our actions are signals that indicate our condition. So again, he's just emphasizing that. So what do we do? What's our responsibility without trying to do what God is supposed to do? What is our action supposed to be? So I think he has some specific actions. I don't know how many he prescribes. One of it is, your failure, your shame, your pain. You need to give God and the right people a chance. People in your church, in your community. Interesting example. An alcoholic can't will himself to stop, but he can take himself to the support meeting. So there's something to say about just going to to your main community that supports you, because that's part of God's way of letting you grow. It's tending to allowing God to tend to you through your community.
All right. There's this book that I read called The War of Art. and it's about a writer, and he's talking about, it's like a self-help book. He writes military fiction. He wrote this little book about his process on how to write, and he believes in, like, you know, the goal for him is behavior. He has to get himself up every day, have his coffee, sit at his typewriter, well, this typewriter, computer, whatever, and he has to write for X amount of hours. And most of the time, it's going to be crap what he writes. He says he has to throw it away. But the fact that he puts him there every day, he feels that God is watching him and is respecting his diligence. And so if he just keeps doing it, eventually something will happen, and he'll get something in his heart that will happen, and then he'll be able to write something that's really true, that's really profound, or that, you know, expresses himself and God and the world around him. So his point is, every day you have to make an effort, you have to change your behavior, you have to do these things. And then, as kind of like a reward, as long as you're open, as long as you're honest, as long as you're not manipulating the situation. If you're open and you keep doing these things, eventually, you know, you'll have, I guess his approach is not the oven, his is like the bursts of
The microwave.
Yeah, well, like a series of jolts that happen every once in a while that keep you going. And that's kind of a process through behavior first. As long as you're open heart, you know, you'll accept these things will just happen to you during that time.